The Google Pixel 6a was announced on July of 2022, and it's the first Pixel A device with the Tensor chip, the first generation Tensor chip. So how well has this phone held up? Well, it's been in my rotation of phones that I use, so let's go ahead and check it out. So when the Pixel 6a first came out, the phone was $450, which I think is a good spot for what you're getting in terms of a Google product, in terms of a flagship processor at the time. So good on Google. But right now, you can pick this phone up for $330 on Amazon. So I'm going to leave a link down below if you guys are interested, but that is a steal. This phone for $330 is a no-brainer. This phone, at least from my time using it, outpunches any phone in its price category. And, you know, the point of this phone isn't to blow your mind, right? You're not going to be mind blown if you are using this phone. The point of this phone is to give you a really good experience without completely killing your wallet, because let's be honest, $1,000 phones nowadays are becoming the norm. Whereas like a few years ago, we were like, oh my God, $1,000. And now they're more than $1,000. The one thing this phone has that I wish all Android phones had is the new Google Voice to Text. It is simply amazing, and you will never find anything like it in other phones. It is actually scary how well it works. It puts punctuation in places where it needs to be. It even understands you. Like even if your English is a little bit broken, it understands you so much better than any other voice to text feature, especially Apple's. I don't want to go on a rant, but iPhone's voice to text, even the updated one where it puts the commas and periods in places where it thinks it needs to go, it is nowhere close to as accurate as what Google is doing. And the fact that you're getting it in a phone for $330 is insane. Honestly, if you've never tested this feature out, I highly recommend you go to your local Best Buy or any electronics store, find the Google Pixel and play around with it, that voice to text feature. I'm telling you, once you do, it is impossible to go back to just standard voice to text. Also, since this is a Google product, you're getting good updates regularly. Okay, so for example, my Xiaomi 13 Lite that came out, well, the global edition that came out just a couple months ago, is still running Android 12. Hey, Xiaomi, what's up, dude? You know? This phone is running Android 13. It's going to be running Android 14. So you're getting consistency with Google, which is obviously something that a lot of us already do expect and know of Google. So for $330, not only are you getting a premium feeling phone with fantastic cameras, a pretty darn good battery, and Google features, but it's also updated. No joke, you would be lucky to find a phone in this price range that marks all those things off. Speaking of cameras, it's actually absurd how well these cameras are for the price. Did you guys notice this whole theme is about price? Because let's be honest, man, everything's about price nowadays, especially nowadays, right? So back to the cameras. So as I was saying, here's a shot with the Pixel 6a and the Pixel 7 Pro. Can you guess which is which? I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, the differences are there, but they're not as large as comparing other $300 phones to $900 phones, or however much the Pixel 7 Pro costs. But regardless, that's a pretty big price gap, but not that big of a difference when it comes to photos. I mean, it's there, but it's not crazy. The front-facing camera only does record in 1080p 30, which normally I would say is a huge downside. But again, you got to take a look at the price, okay? Because some $1,000 Xiaomi phones don't even record with 4K on the front-facing camera. So are you really going to be complaining about it with the Pixel 6a? I don't think so. But I think the quality looks good enough just to kind of, get that quick video if you need to. But let me know, does this look good, or am I just blind? Hopefully it looks good. Now, when it comes to the rear camera, it does go up to 4K 60, which is considered the norm nowadays in today's flagships, but not in many budget phones, or at least not as good as the Pixel does it. Video stabilization looks great, the sharpness is pretty good, and overall it's a not bad experience. But of course, it does overheat, so keep that in mind. The unfortunate part about this phone is the display, but not the actual display itself, but instead the technology. It is only at 60 Hz, which is so painful in today's time, especially when you go from a 120 Hz phone back down to 60 Hz. That is super rough. But don't be afraid, because you kind of get used to it. I'm not going to lie, after the week I've been using this phone during in my rotation of Android phones, it wasn't that shocking. Like the first hour, I was like, oh my God, this is bad. but then you just kind of get used to it, you know? I'm just being honest. But for those of you who want a higher refresh rate Pixel, but you don't want to spend a lot of money to get it, don't be afraid because the upcoming Pixel 7a is rumored to have 90 Hz, which I think is the perfect sweet spot between 60 and 120. So earlier I mentioned the battery life being good. So what do I mean by good? Because everyone's definition of good is different. Well, you can expect about 5 hours of screen on time, which if you're a techie like me, may seem pretty bad. But guys, keep in mind, the people buying this phone are not techies, right? They're normal people that want a good phone with a good experience and Google features, right? That's who is buying these budget Pixel phones. So for them, 5 hours might be good because I don't think they're going to be playing games. I don't think they're going to be editing video and doing all this high intensity stuff. So for them, they might get 6 hours, 6.5 hours. So, but the way I use it, it's about 5 hours, which in my opinion, as a techie, it is quite bad. But for you, it might be perfect. So it kind of just all depends on how you use your phone. Now, when it comes to the build quality, again, if you take a look at phones in the price category, they feel empty inside. Like I've picked up, I remember when Xiaomi sent me one of their budget phones like 3 years ago. And when I picked it up, no joke, I thought it was like a fake phone because it just felt like I was holding a phone shell. Like it didn't feel like anything's inside of it, you know? But this phone, again, in the price category, feels super well. In fact, this doesn't even feel like a budget phone at all. If you told me this phone was $600, $700, I'd be like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Why is that a shock, you know? But it's really good. Does it have a glass back? No, it is plastic. I prefer it. Why? Because it looks exactly like glass. Watch, hang on. Look. Pixel, wow, this is pure white. You guys are not, this is overexposed, my bad. But this is the Pixel 7, right? Glass back. And I don't feel a difference. I'm holding it, I don't feel a difference. In fact, when this phone first came out, the Pixel 6a, a lot of reviewers mistaken it for a glass back, so that should say something. And if you drop it, it's not going to crack, so it kind of helps to keep your phone a little bit more sturdy. But yeah, I prefer I prefer a plastic back anyway. I've been saying this in all my videos if I review a plastic backed phone. So my opinion has not changed. I like plastic. Give me plastic. Oh man, that's not funny. Subscribe. Another thing I freaking love about Google products, I love the attention that they put even into the budget phones, right? The Google OS, it's not some watered down version. It's not some different budget version. You're getting the full Google experience in this phone, which again is not something I can say with other phones. Like I said, my Xiaomi 13 Lite running Android 12. My Xiaomi 13, just my Xiaomi 13 right here, is running Android 14. They came out globally at the same time running two different operating systems. One's a really budget phone, one is not so budget. Here, you're getting the full Google experience, which again, I have to kind of congratulate Google on doing that. You will not, mark my words, you will not find a better operating system in this price range. Impossible. Good luck. When it comes to recommending phones, especially Android phones, let's be honest, in the budget category, $200, $300, $350, it's really hard for me to recommend that because who knows when they'll be updated, right? Will they ever be updated? Maybe not. You just don't know it. So it's hard for me to recommend an Android phone in this price category, but the Pixel 6a is that phone. It is that phone. This is the phone that I recommend if you don't want to completely go broke by buying a phone. Go on Amazon, spend that $330, get yourself a good working phone that will be up to date. Even today, it's up to date. It works. Yeah, you're not going to get the best cameras. Yeah, you're not going to get the best display technology when it comes to refresh rate. But what you are getting is a good phone, a solid phone with good battery life and a great experience. And that is something that is so hard to say with other budget Android phones. So if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down below. I'll try to answer as many as I can. If you guys did enjoy today's video, definitely click that like button. It's completely free to you, but it helps me and the channel a lot, and I always truly appreciate it. And if you are new here and you like these types of videos, definitely subscribe. This was Mark from Mark's Tech. Adios.